Surprise. It's me today. Hello, everyone. I have been in this company for 7 years. I've owned this company for 7 years, and I've never done a hot seat call. It's very exciting. How are you all doing? Hello, Eco. Hello, Glenda. Hello, Terry. Isabella says you all get about 15 or 20 people on the call. So you all are the special ones. There must have been a rumor that was going around. Just teasing. Oh, here we got some more coming in. Oh, that's awesome, Glenda. You're like, this is the first time you're here live for the hot seat. Me too, girl. Me too. Normally, Isabella, but we're doing Activate. So Activate. So Isabella, it's breakthrough day at Activate. So Isabella is running the whatchamacallit, coaching assistant meeting because it's breakthrough day, setting them all up. And so I was like, cool, I can do it. I can come and hang out with you all. So Glenda, don't use this as what normally happens on the hot seat call because it won't be normal. Because I don't, Isabella's like, come on, you just go on there and you just talk to them. And I said, oh, I can do that. I can totally come on here and talk to you all. I can coach, y'all as well, if y'all, especially if there's only gonna be a few of you on the line. But Glenda, definitely don't take this as the normal hot seat. Because Isabella's normally here doing that. Hello, good morning, Arlene. Hello, Lorna. Yes, it's a surprise. You're like, oh, look, there's Jenn. Oh, you were wanting to get coached by Isabella. Oh, well, I can coach you. That's fine. Yes, Isabella did get her voice back. It is still hers wasn't as whatchamacallit. Like I lost my voice for 2 months. So it's not that bad. So yeah, she got her voice back. She trained a little bit yesterday. And then it's monitoring breakthroughs today. So all right, everyone. All right, Glenda, tell me, or you all tell me what's going on with you. Who would want to I can coach. I just don't know how Isabella does it. That's supposed to be funny. Thank you for laughing at me, Arlene. Glenda, what's going on, my friend? You're like, I came on here to see. Okay. Got it. Okay. So you're okay. So we could talk about that, Glenda. Eco, Arlene, Terry, what else? Anybody else got going on? Okay. All right, Glenda. Got to come off mute, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you okay. This is some good stuff, my friend. This is some good stuff. All right. So what are so sorry, let me get to a new piece of paper so I can take some really cool notes for you. Um, okay. So Glenda, what are the qualities and characteristics of a top producer in your mind?
Aggressive, being top of everything, uh, detailed, close follow up, and okay, working hard,
Okay.
diligent, disciplined,
Okay.
and just be very single track, very focused, and
Very
just
focused.
going after the goal.
Okay. Okay, so I might have missed a word. So I've got aggressive, detailed, working hard, diligent, disciplined, focused, going after every goal.
Yeah, and do not take no for answer.
Okay. Anything else?
Um, Thick skin.
Thick skin.
Yeah.
Okay. So aggressive, detailed, working hard, diligent, disciplined, focused, going after your goal, don't take no for an answer, thick skin. Okay. So
Yes.
those are the qualities and characteristics of a top producer.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the qualities and characteristics of being of an entrepreneur?
Okay, so of course, in this case, the entrepreneur that I want to be, of course, would be the work that we are doing.
Okay. So you want to be
Yes.
doing the breakthrough breath
Which, yes,
work.
which you know, yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay. So
So
what are the
our
qualities and characteristics of an entrepreneur? Or why did you want to be an entrepreneur?
why? I mean, I'm
Don't
able
tell Isabella I
to,
asked a why question. I'll get in trouble.
well, I'm able to design the life that I want based on my values, and it's based on my terms, uh, to create my own brand.
So you want to design the life that you want on your values and you want to be your own brand.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right. So that's the don't tell Isabella I asked a why question.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course, I'm not saying that I can't do that as a top producer because I'm also creating my own brand as well, right?
okay. So what are the qualities and characteristics of an entrepreneur?
Disciplined. Um, they are also very fixated in their goal, their mission, their dream. And of course, in this case, to serve,
Okay.
um, they they are kind of, I mean, they show up as who they are, being the product of the product. They are aligned in all ways. They're able to influence. Um, they create a trust. They're trustworthy. They're trusted. They're likable. Uh, they have the integrity, organized, and they are able to lead.
Well, the first thing, your lists are completely different. So no wonder.
Yeah, yeah.
So no
Okay.
wonder that there's a thing. So you have a couple of you have disciplined on both sides. You've got focus on their goal on both sides. But other than that, you don't have the definition of being a top producer and being an entrepreneur, they don't match. So that is one thing. So we understand the purpose of you wanting to be an entrepreneur was to design your life on your values and to do your own brand. So how is it a problem? How is it a problem that your qualities and characteristics of a top producer don't match your entrepreneurship?
I I realized that for the past few years, because of this container, I want to let go of the old way of operating things. And I want to be the top producer as a calm, collective individual. But then I realized that it's, and I don't want to be like the number one, keep having that on my mind. But then recently, someone came out to say, hey, so and so said that she wants to be number one. And I realized that there is like a threat in a certain identity because I used to be number one, and yes, I'm no longer number one now. And I realized that, hey, I have to get back to number one. And in order for me to be number one, I would have to put in that energy into my corporate job. And having said that, then it compromised the time for me to pay attention to be the entrepreneur that I want to be, building that business. And I realized that for the past few years, because I want to focus on building that business, yes, intentionally, I kind of dropped the activities from my corporate side. And of course, yes, it does impact. So at this moment, I realize that there is this identity that is being threatened. So I have a lot of this voice coming out, which, yes, I know that I have that skill that I've learned. I have this toolbox. And despite the fact that I've been listening to the meditation, watching back the coaching, try to coach myself, and I realized that it kind of is not really moving. And of course, for many, many weeks and months, I didn't want to be so-called be coach because maybe to conceal or protect my certain identity until I can't sleep. So I thought that, okay, yes, I need someone to help me sort this thing out. So that's a problem because,
Okay.
yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, because I can't really sleep. It is disturbing my sleep now. And also, I feel that I'm not in alignment. I'm not coherent with who I am. And I also don't know who I am now because I didn't want to put out a message that, hey, let's do this. And yet back to office, I'm not behaving as, yeah, I'm not walking the talk.
At work.
Yeah, and even like in my personal life, and I start to be very impatient and yeah, little things just gets into me.
So, all right. For those of you that showed up late, obviously I'm running the hot seat call today. Isabella's training Activate. And we're just talking to Glenda about her identity right now. So this is first of all, this is a big thing that you're addressing. So what's important to you about being the top producer at work? Like when that started getting threatened, what is important to you?
What is important to me about being
Top
number
producer.
one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Or number one, yeah.
okay, to show that I am of use, to show that I am still effective and I I'm being seen. Uh, And also because in our corporate environment,
Mhm.
being a producer means that sometimes you are able to get away with things. You you are valued. I'm valued. Yeah. And I feel that my I I'm able to contribute. Yes. And of course, this translate to having more resources for myself.
Okay.
And also because we are in a very competitive environment.
Figure out how I want to ask this question. So, Glenda, from what you're, first of all, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing all of this stuff. I'm trying to see if I want to ask one question or another question first. Okay, I think I'm gonna ask the other question first because I want to see what you come up with. Okay, so that is what's important to you for being a top producer in corporate. Okay, being number one. Okay, what's important to you when you look at your qualities and characteristics of an entrepreneur about being disciplined, fixated on your goal, living your mission, you're fixated on your goal of mission and dream versus your corporate numbers, wanting to serve, showing up authentic, product of the product, aligned, being always aligned, having influence, trust, likability, integrity, organized, and being a leader.
I mean, how are they related? Okay.
Yeah.
So like last year I shared during the trainers training that,
Huh?
hey, with all these things, I could be like a sales trainer, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So with that in mind, coming back, I was thinking, okay, if let's say I want to create this particular image, I have to be like number one in sales. Right. So I I thought that okay, one of the way for people to see that you are legit, you are the person that if let's say I'm looking out for a sales trainer, I want to look for someone who has that real practical application and who has been there, done that.
So
So
where in the world, I am going to interrupt you for a second. Where in the world did you get the thought that you've been a number one? How many years were you number one at your company?
quite a few years.
Okay. So where did the thought come from that you can be number one for quite a few years? That you are the fact that you're not number one this exact second that you can't be a sales trainer. You have credibility. So I don't know. I don't know how Isabella normally runs these calls, probably, especially
Yeah.
with Ilka showing up going, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. Like, that's probably what Isabella normally does do on this call. And I coach a little bit different. So I'm more of an intuitive coach, which is totally fine. Like I see where your challenge is. I'm just trying to get more evidence for you.
I I don't know where I get that from.
Okay.
However,
Yep.
because the thing is, perhaps this is me. I would I will follow and learn from someone who has that credential. right?
You
And
have the credential. That's the part. So now we're getting a little bit into justification for a second. So, how is it a problem that you're not simultaneously the top producer in corporate and the top producer as an entrepreneur? How is that a problem?
because I feel that I will not have that convincing factor, I will be seen as not competent. Because the thing is, even when I'm trying to do this entrepreneur work and to
Yep.
sell people, I realize that, hey, I'm actually not competent in selling to this group of people, which it kind of like blow my mind. Like, okay, so yes, I'm still learning and I I'm very happy to learn things that I don't know.
So, number one, you've got parts. Okay. Because part of you knows that you are a newer entrepreneur. And part of you knows that you're new, and part of you wants you to be exactly what you need to do. So here's the deal. If you're going to be like, the hard work. Now I'm just talking to you right now. Okay. Right. You know the hard work it takes to be number one. You just said, the hard work. So you have this challenge with expectations, my friend, because how can you have the expectations to stay top producer over here, which you know how much work it takes to simultaneously basically clone yourself and be 100% competent, or not that you're not competent, top producer over here. Now you're trying to create a life where you are top producer in two spaces when you know what it takes to be top producer in one. So you have unrealistic expectations on yourself because this takes hard work. You said it. You said it over here. Like the moment I shift and focus anyway on my entrepreneurship, I go down to being the second producer, not the top producer. So you've got this expectation. Number one, how many years have you been doing the sales over here in corporate?
I've been with this company for 16 years.
16 years. And you're
Yeah.
trying to say that you're starting a new business. This slips, and it's not even slipping. You're not slipping here. You're transferring it over to here. So what I want, so really the part of you that's having the challenge, which you probably already know, and those of you that are listening, I don't know if Isabella ever has you all participate, but I would love for everyone to type in the chat, what have you heard from Glenda right now? What part of her is having the biggest challenge? And I don't know if she normally lets you all participate, but I'm just curious for my little coaches in the line. What have you heard from Glenda? And Glenda, have you heard anything? And you may not because you can't see the label from within inside the jar. But I'm just curious. Looks like Arlene's going to text something in. Okay, fear of change. Yes, I would definitely say that. So fear of change. She is okay. Superwoman. Okay, that's a label. Yep, I can see that. Is I think your value is tied up in your stature. So you only feel valuable when you're number one. So it's like intertwined. It's intertwined. So your value is in a top producer. So the moment that the top producer goes to the second producer, you have your value is lost. So when I say that, what comes up for you? Just tell me what comes up for you. I can be wrong. That's fine.
Yeah.
There we go. That's right, Julie. Julie typed in what I was. The rest of you, yes. It's the inner ego with expectations. But remember, the ego is protecting the inner child, right?
Yeah, and also another thing is I was just thinking that okay, since this part in a corporate takes so much hard work. And as a top entrepreneur, I also need to put in a lot of hard work over here. And I realized that in terms of the the resources that I'm having right now is so way off.
Well, they're two different versions of you. That's
Yes.
why they're so far. Like, look at your when you did your qualities and characteristics, these are your qualities and characteristics of top producer. These are your qualities and characteristics of an entrepreneur. And only a couple of them match. So you actually have who said it first? Arlene, you've got a fear of change because you've got to go from this version of you to this version of you. The thing is, though, but I want you to hear and see this version of you, the entrepreneur version of you, can outperform that version of you tenfold. Because this is all Glenda. This is what whoever the president or the owner of your company is. You have a safe space. All of you that ever worked in corporate or are working in corporate, when you're in corporate, you're in a safe space because you don't have to make every single decision. You have to do your one thing really well. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to do all the things and you pray you make it through the day. Because I've like the things that I've got to do when I hang up the phone with you all today, because it's breakthrough day. So I work today. No, I'm not training today. I have to go put on a CEO hat, which is stuff that if I was still in my corporate job or I was still working for someone else, I wouldn't have to think about. So you also have unrealistic expectations of who Glenda needs to be. This takes hard work. This takes hard work. It's different hard work. And my friend, what has stopped you from doing your first sales training? That's right. Because I know that you wanted to start doing breath work, which I have zero issues with. I think that was amazing. The fact that you went and did it, the fact that you put it out there, you want to take more swings. And you know this because you're in sales and corporate. The thing is when you're working in your vertical, do you understand what I mean? You understand what I mean by that word, right? Like that vertical. When you're working in this space, it's only one part of you. You are not your full, truly authentic self when you're in this vertical because you have a lot of the masculine energy, right? To be top producer in sales, you've got to have that masculine energy. Being an entrepreneur, you have to meld both masculine and feminine energy. And this is nothing to do with us being men or women. It has to do with the energy that you're projecting, right? It has nothing to do with male or female. It has to do with masculine and feminine energy. When you go here, you're in this vertical. When you go to be an entrepreneur, it's everything. So when I say that, what comes up for you?
I feel that it's what you have shared is also something that I have heard so much during the training as well. And I guess the moment when you said it is really kind of reflecting back that, okay, like I'm kind of like asking myself, okay, what do I really, really want at the end of this?
Because here's the deal, my friend. You were great at trainers training. You're in the master trainer program. You are certified you can create your own, call it whatever you want, sales training. You don't have to take any of the way that we do things in that sense. Like you can do your own sales training. I guarantee you, I will take a sales training from a sales trainer that has been #1 top producer, however many years it was, 10, however many of your 16 years. Let's just say it's just 5 years. I don't know the number. Let's say you've been #1 in your office for 5 years. I'm not going to not take your training if I call you and say, hey, Glenda, I want to take your training. Are you top producer right this second? Because if you're not, I don't think you have any value to me. Forget the fact that you were top producer for 5 other freaking years. No one gives a toot if you are the top producer at the given moment you're giving the trainer. The fact is you were the top producer for 5 or however many years it was of your 16 years. You have value. The challenge is your value is coming from outside. What Ilka says, she's right. It's coming from outside. Someone else is making you top producer. So you have an expectation to live up to. When you have to do it yourself, you're like, you've got to give yourself that same goal. And now I'm not saying don't do breath work. That's brilliant. I think you should do breath work. We do energy work. We do all the things. What's stopping you? I'm wondering if the alignment piece you were talking about earlier, the alignment piece that you were talking about earlier is showing up because you're got some fear that if you show up and do a sales training, it won't be, you'd rather be the top salesperson than teach people how to be the top salesperson.
I guess one of the things is that I don't know whether people will want to hear this.
That's actually your problem. It's your value. It is not your skill. But I'm going to ask the peanut gallery here. And don't blow sunshine up Glenda's, just be honest. If you were to take a sales training, would you not want to take the sales training from a top producer? Yes. So that's what you have to get rid of, my dear, is you've got a complex equivalent that working hard is your value. And you have the 16 years of proof. Now you're stepping out into your own, but look at this. Disciplined, fixated on your mission and your dream, not the sales goal. Your mission and your dream. You have to shift. You want to serve people. You show up at your sales training with a servant heart, and you can still be in that energy. You can still be badass Glenda. You can be like, look, bitches, I've been the top producer for whatever number, 5 years out of 16 or 10 years out of 16. Okay, remember what I taught you in Trainers Training or Unleash Your Authority? What did I teach you? Who here wants to learn how to be the top of their sales game? They're going to raise their hand. They don't give a crap about how you get them there. Who here, this is another question you could ask. Who here would like to remove the blocks that's stopping them from sales? This is what I have spent the last 4 or however, you've been with us for 2 years or 3 years? 2 years? You've been with us for 2 years or 3 years? Okay. Mm-hmm. For the last 2 years, I have focused on realizing what is stopping people from making their sales. I know that there was something that I had inside of me that got me to be the top producer for the last 5 years. And I wanted to figure out how I could support others in doing this. I know that's a very competitive world out here. I know all of you want to be at the top of your game. Go to the VL3 language, right? Who here wants to be at the top of their game? Who here wants to hit number one? I can relate to that. I was number one for 10 years. I completely can get that. But I also know what it takes to get there. Do you want me to teach you how I got there? I'm going to raise two hands. I'm going to have you come teach some things in Genius Unlocked, and because you do things a little bit different. So this is what we're going to do here, class, is I'm going to take the way that we do things, get you out of your own way. I'm going to actually identify what is stopping you from hitting top number one position. Oh, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? All of the work that I'm teaching you right now, I'm a product of the product. I worked and did all of this. And for me, what it meant, I did this work because I wanted to transition to being the top producer, to producing other top producers. That's my goal, if that's your goal. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to get you to think. So they don't need you to be a top producer in order to learn from you, because you're shifting your energy. I would rather you say, look, for 10 out of my 16 years, I was number one top producer. I'm now going more in alignment with my mission and vision, which is to serve others, where I get to share and have a ripple effect. Because when I support all of you, I get supported, and then everyone, the tide rises all boats. You can still do it in Glenda language and in your way of doing things, but your inner ego is protecting your value. Your value is attached to being number one, and that's what's being threatened. Your paycheck is not being threatened. I promise you. If you really go all out, and I tell this to every single one of you, when you step into that version, you will be successful. And it's also your definition of success. But every single one of you has the same challenge, which is, what is your identity attached to? And you do have a complex equivalent, my friend. So what is actually stopping you from launching a sales training? I don't care if there's 3 people in the room.
I would say that schedule is definitely one of them.
Schedule, okay.
Yeah.
So that's timing.
Yes.
Schedule in what way? Your schedule? Or the schedule of the people you would sell it to?
No, my schedule.
Okay.
Because yeah, it's, I guess I'm not say I guess, I know that I'm like going back to my usual routine.
Yeah, you got to take the risk. Can you carve out 2 days?
So here's the thing, I did try to kind of like do it such that, okay, 3 days I'm at work and 2 days I'm out. But
No, I'm
because
just saying, can you do 2 days in a row? Can you go carve out 2 days to run a sales training?
over the weekend,
I don't care.
yeah, over the weekend, yeah.
Sure. Okay. So timing and schedule, meh, bullshit. You just told me you could find 2 days. Okay. Now, again, y'all, when you're now, and I'm sorry, I was going to say like 7 things at once. One is, you've got to do a 90-day run. You've got to do a 90-day sprint. So it's going to be a lot for 90 days. You all need to break up your business. And I talk about this on the business calls and stuff. You all need to be breaking up your days, or your goals in 90-day sprints. You can do anything for 90 days. So if you say, let's say that a month from now, like today, you pick a date in a month. So in May, you give yourself April. So in May, you're going to be running a 2-day sales training. Okay. What is the number one thing that's coming up for you about running a 2-day sales training right now? When I said that, you're going to book it in May. You're going to find a weekend in May. What is the number one thing that's coming up?
The number one thing that will come out will be I have to advertise it. I have to tell the
Okay.
world. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Syllabus.
Okay. I'll give you one. Done. I'm running a 2-day sales training, by the way, in April. I'll just give you what I'm doing. Done.
Uh,
Check.
do I do live or virtual?
Hybrid. Done. Next. So everything that you've said so far is your conscious mind. What is
Yeah.
your unconscious, which is totally fine. You answered my questions. You answered my questions exactly the way you were supposed to. What is your unconscious mind saying?
Okay, my conscious mind is saying that. Are you sure?
Okay, that's doubt. Okay, fair enough. What else?
Yeah, doubt, um, fear, uncertainty, which is doubt.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, these are
Okay.
the two main.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if anybody else noticed that was watching, but when I first asked Glenda the question, where did she go? Did anybody notice? I know this isn't supposed to be teaching time, but I can't help myself. Where did she go? Did you all notice? She looked up. She went into visual recall, visual construct. So she was all in her conscious mind. Then I said, what does your unconscious mind say? And then she looked down. So one thing for you, my friend, Glenda, I want you to practice looking down when you answer questions to get yourself into kinesthetic. I don't mind if it's an AD as well, because kinesthetic and AD is down there. I just want you to look down. Okay. So you've got doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Great. Welcome to the club. So that's cool. I'm glad that that's what came out. Do you know in your heart of hearts that if there were 10 people in the room and you had a syllabus and you had all the tech set up for live or hybrid, that you could put on a kick-ass sales training?
I will do my
Scale of 1 to
best.
10.
Sorry, on a scale 1 to 10.
Yeah. Can you put on a kick-ass sales training?
Uh, 7, 6, 7.
6, 7. Okay, great. That's your homework, my friend. I want you to write out, I want you to journal, however you do your self-coaching. Like, if you write out, I want you to write out everything that needs to happen in order for that to be a 10. Okay. And I'm going to give you Julie got it. You've got to break the complex equivalent that your value is associated. So write this down too. You got to break your complex equivalent that value is associated with hard work in corporate. It's also attached to the title.
Mm.
It's attached to the title of number one producer. Do you want to be number one producer, or do you want to live in alignment and help people? I don't care the answer. You have to answer that question.
Okay, I would say that at this moment while you're asking me,
Uh-huh.
is it's more of I want to have that resources, sufficient resources, and to be able to
Okay,
help
so
people.
right now you think it's a both. Right now you think it's an either or. That's what you're actually scared of instead of a both and. You're thinking if you go full on the entrepreneurial route, you won't have the resources anymore. Consider the possibility that you could exponentially grow your resources. Is it going to take a minute? Yeah. Does it need to take forever? No. Does it even need to take a year? No.
Mm.
The thing is what you're selling is yourself versus selling a product.
Exactly, because I feel that
Yes,
I
I'm
can't
aware.
sell myself. Because yeah, I just feel that I am like, okay, to be a coach, you have to be great, you have to be in alignment, you have to walk the talk. And when I look at myself these few days or these few months, I realize that I'm quite crap. I'm like a piece of shit. And I realize that I can't be selling people that version that they want to be based on like me.
But you can. You can. I am constantly growing, constantly growing. I am still not the version of me that the way that source sees me is still up here. I'm getting there, but you all go along for the ride. You all go along for the ride with like the version that I want to be is still up here. And remember, there's a version of you, Glenda, that prayed to be where you are right now, that dreamed to be where you are right now. There was a version of Glenda that dreamed about one day getting out of the corporate race and going and being an entrepreneur. You're there. So you've already made that version of Glenda's dream come true. Now you've got the new version of the new dream that Glenda has, which is to be successful. The thing is you already are successful and you can map it across. You can map across the success that you're having now, but you have to understand there will be a transition. That's called life. And right now, what you're doing is you're doing an A-B cycle. And you deserve to jump into the C because remember, what happens in the C is transformation and the C is the not me. So you have to step into the version and you have to go give yourself the swings. Launch a 2-day sales event. I will give you the curriculum, at least to give you a framework. I will give you the curriculum. I'm doing it now. I don't know what the timing is. You're more than welcome to come. It's a Friday, it's a Saturday, Sunday. You're more than welcome to come. Right. And it's the quantum sales method. I'm going to teach sales my way though. So maybe what I'm going to teach is not what the people that you're going to be like maybe you're teaching people to do corporate sales. Maybe that's not how I'm going to teach entrepreneurs how to do sales, right? So you can come and at least see what I'm doing and then you can add your way to it. I mean, you can map that over. Okay. So right now you just have to take the leap and jump. And if there's 3 people in the class, there's 3 people in the class. And what do you want to sell? What do you want to sell for? What do you want to sell the price point for? Now I'm selling it for $997 because I'm using it as a entry. You can sell yours. And now again, with the exchange rates and all that, like you're not selling, you got to do it in your own price point, right? So think about it. What would it be? Like I'm doing the private door right now. If you want one-on-one coaching with me, it's $10,000, right? So that's 3 months or it's a 3 days. You guys can come hang out with me for 3 days. It'll be you and me 3 days. You will not even recognize yourself when you're done, or you can do 3 months one-on-one, right? So my value in the sales training is more than 997, but I want to get people in there making some money. So you might want to charge $5,000 equivalent for your sales training because they're higher level. You also want to make sure that the value is there. So if you're talking to corporate people, like what is the price point that they would be willing to pay for a reputable sales training? Charge that. If it's $10,000 for 2 days, charge that. If it's $5,000 for 2 days, charge that. You don't have to charge the same as me. And I will give you the structure that I'm doing. And then you can lay over, okay, well, this, like Jenn does this, but I want to do this in my corporate way. This is what it would look like. And then you call people. You call people in your own freaking company and say, hey, girl, do you want to know how I was the top producer for 7 of my 16 years? You might want to come hang out with me this weekend. The way you don't have to advertise it, you call the first time you call people. If you have uncertainty, then you do a beta test. You do it for 5 people, 3 to 5 people, 2 days. You're like, and then you're going to get all the kinks out. So the thing is you are a massive action taker, and this little block right here has stopped you from taking action. So let me tell you what I want you to write down. And then you're going to go into your activate or evolve alumni channel and tell somebody to release all this for you. Okay. You ready?
I'm meeting Isabella next week.
Is she doing a rapid release with you next week?
Yeah, I mean, she's supposed yeah, we are supposed to meet up. But because I was thinking, okay, I really can't wait till next week. So I thought that, okay, I jump on. Hey, I see you.
Oh no, well, remember, this is the class. This is the call where we don't release stuff. This is the call where we put you in your shit.
I know.
That's what she told me. I was like, how do you she goes, Mom, you don't release stuff on this call. You coach them for an hour and get them into their stuff so they know what they need to go release. So if you can't wait for her next week, go into the Evolve alumni channel and see who wants to do a swap.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But you've got to break the complex equivalence of value equals hard work or value equals your title. That's got to go. Okay. Yes, you've got fear, doubt, uncertainty. That's great. You've got to do some inner ego work. Impatient, you want to release. Lack. You've got lack coming up a lot. Oh, I'm trying to see if I want to ask you a different. Okay, I know we have just a minute left because this is actually the Zoom account that activates on, so I just have a minute. What's going on in your mind when you can't sleep?
Frustrated. I feel that like my energy is draining. It's being drained.
Yeah, because you're not in alignment. You know that, right? Your energy is being drained because you're not in alignment. You're battling each other. Okay, what else?
I just feel it like WTF.
The what?
WTF.
Oh, WTF. Got it.
Yes, and then
your
of course,
inner ego is like, stop changing the game, and you're like, I want to.
yes.
What else?
And the thing is, I go back and listen to the intuition that back in our back office. I put on my earpiece and listen.
That's the
and
parts.
listen. Yes.
Yes, you've got to do a parts integration. Okay, so you got to break the complex equivalent. You're going to release the other things that I said: doubt, frustration, fear, uncertainty. You're going to add frustration, non-alignment. You're going to release that, and then you need to do a parts integration. Because you're battling your inner ego is just holding on to the identity that you've had. So we don't want to get mad at it, right? We're not blaming and shaming. We're not like really mad at our inner ego. You're like, dude or dudette, however, whoever, if you're, for me, my inner ego is masculine, my masculine energy, my other two are feminine energy, but that's why I say dude, but you all might have some of your all inner ego still might be your whatever you call it. And just say, you've got to journal on what is your inner ego fearful to release? Like what is it holding on to so much? And I'm sure it's stature. I'm sure it's the resources. I'm sure it's the recognition. Like that stuff's the obvious stuff. I want you to go deeper into what wound is it protecting? Because you're right, going to entrepreneurship and opening the sales training, you're going to have to be vulnerable. And that's terrifying for some reason. There's a wound there that your inner ego wants to protect. But the other part of you wants to go out and shine. And you want to help people. You want to serve people. And you are a product of the product, or you wouldn't be here, my friend. You wouldn't be on this call right now if you weren't a product of the product.
And of course, I want to have profit and make money too.
As you should.
Yeah.
So then you need to do this. Then you need to go do the sales training and just figure it out. You just go figure it out. You just put it on the books and you do your thing. You're a salesperson. You can sell 5 people into your sales event. You got to call them though. You don't necessarily need to advertise it to like strangers. You need to call people. Who do you know that wants to be the number one in their company? Is it you? Great. Join us. If it's not you, who do you know?
Mm.
And yes, we stirred up some stuff.
Okay.
You're like, that's not what I wanted today. It's what you got exactly what, this is your first time on the hot seat. My first time on the hot seat, running the hot seat, because this is normally not the call that I run.
Yeah,
And look
because
at this.
I don't want to put myself into this video and let everybody see it, right?
But you helped everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so many toothpicks. You're doing amazing, Mike. I cannot wait for us to look back on this call and you're like, what was I worried about? And I'll be like, that's right. And you have all of the resources. Like you have calls with me, you have calls with Isabella, you have rapid releases, you have breakthroughs, you have all the resources. They're just the ones that you're like, I don't know. You're a salesperson. Go sell your own sales training. Pick a date in May.
Okay.
Okay. Jane, did you want to say something, honey? That was so great. You came off camera. I just heard, I didn't know if you were going to say something.
Well, I just say, like, totally my story happening right now and in the moment. So thank you, Glenda, for voicing that. That was what I needed to hear as well. Get it on my calendar and put it out there. It's
Just do
happening
it.
right now, actually.
Now I did. I sold this quantum sales blueprint when I was on the cruise and somebody bought it. Then the dates that I originally picked, she couldn't do it. And I was like, all right. So I moved the dates. And now I'm just like everyone I talked to. I went and spoke in Dallas last weekend and I sold 5 from the stage. Okay. I've got referrals coming in. So I'm actually filling my sales training from all different places. So we've got to get out of that dichotomy thinking and get into the both and world and know that you're going to have to build a bridge and it's going to be a transition. You can't work as hard in both things at both. You're not, that's where your also your challenge is. You've got to build the bridge and then this one will take off. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I have no idea what time it is where you are, but if it's nighttime, go to sleep. I'll send you some energy. All right.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me on the hot seat call. Don't tell Isabella I asked her a why question and we're going to all be good. But I've got to get off this Zoom because Activate's starting breakthrough day. Mwah. Love
Bye.
every one of you. Great job, Glenda. Great
Thank
job,
you.
my friend. All right, everyone. See you next time.